Hello.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey.
Hello.
Just a second, I'll be back. Oh, I've got more light. Okay, are we waiting for anyone else? Let's give it a few minutes. So before we begin, do we have any other topics for the discussion today?
Nothing for me.
Do you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, so what do we have on the list? Status updates, CDF TOC Roadmap, then inclusive membership, and CDF project onboarding. So should we begin? Okay. So for status updates, do we have any major projects running after the previous meeting? So we had a meeting to discuss infrastructure topic. Do we have any pending action items from there?
Hi, Oleg.
Yes.
I think I have something on that where I was just going to see if we could get the breakdown of over the year of project per month spend.
So you expect to get it soon run, right? Or do you expect the projects to provide it?
Oh, no, this is from the account. Well, I think we have access to the account so we can pull it out for the stuff the CDF is managing.
Yeah, for Tecton side, I think some of the accounts that we use were originated in Google and we still haven't recreated them. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to get the breakdown.
Yeah, I think most projects still do have some infrastructure under company sites. But the main thing I was going to get is just the stuff that CDF is currently has under its remit.
Okay.
So is this mainly for getting how much CDF is spending or how much the project itself is spending?
So I guess two sides. So on the one side, so the CDF spend, have a remit from the board to just have some processes in place to make sure that doesn't go out of control and is kind of effectively gardened or pruned. And from the other side, if projects are looking to bring more infrastructure into CDF to make sure it's vendor neutral and accessible by everybody, then that's the next step. So we want to be in a position where we can offer more services to all the projects, but we just need to plan and budget accordingly. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because from Screwdriver specific side, we've been always running on our own AWS account paid by Yahoo. And that's been continuing so far. I don't think we are expecting to change that anytime soon because it just works.
Yeah. So if, like I say, if it works and it's good, but if it's holding back the community in any way, and especially in the sense of access, then that's something we can help with. But we're not
Okay.
looking for things at the moment, but some projects have requirements they've brought to us we'd like to help meet.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. So yeah, for the Jenkins community, basically we're still in transition for Amazon accounts. For the CDF sponsored Azure accounts, there was a significant decrease in costs in the recent months. So we are currently at 9 to 8K per month or so. Still quite a lot, but it's within the budget.
And Oleg,
Yeah.
did you see Microsoft have a new program for requesting credits? I sent something to the Jenkins board and infra
Yes,
officer.
I'm on that thread, and you were going to send the request, right? For this. Or do you need somebody?
I just was asking, I asked Olivia if he could, but if he's not able to, I can put it in or ask someone at
If I recall
to.
correctly, Olivia responded that he's fine if you send it. I'm double checking.
Okay, I don't believe I saw that response. Okay, thanks. I'll go have a look.
Yes, he actually asked whether you could work on that.
Okay, I must. Thanks for confirming. I think I suspect it got filtered out somewhere.
It happens. Yes, this is all major for infrastructure. Any other status updates we would like to discuss? On behalf of JK, there is pending request for CDCon program committee participants. So if you're interested, please respond to the thread she sent to the mailing list. Okay. Anything else?
We discussed a couple of things about CD events, SIG events last week. One was the logo and the other one was the DNS name. So we got the creative brief. Thanks, Tracy, for that. And I think we put a lot of content in it already and just get a confirmation from the community and then I share it back. But yeah, it's all
Great.
next.
And have you been part of the processes for Tecton? But yeah, I think pretty much the creative team read the brief, they come up with a few logos, and then it's up to the community to say this is the right direction or start from scratch. But yeah, it can be pretty straightforward, or it can be a lot of iteration, just depending.
Okay, cool. Yeah, hopefully we won't make it too complicated. The other bit, the DNS name, I'm not sure where we stopped with the discussion. Is it something that you were going to look into, Tracy, as well, or is it something that we...
I don't recall, and I did not ask about anything. So if there was a specific name.
Right. Yeah, we said that we want to avoid double work. So getting a domain on our account and then transfer it back.
Okay.
But we didn't, I guess we didn't take any specific action. So I just wanted to make sure it was not.
Yeah, I'm not looking, but I can start looping in. I think our program manager, Michelle, will handle that. So I can bring her up to speed and she can go. Did you have a list of suggestions, and we could run through those and see which ones are available, and then she can coordinate with the community.
Yes, we have events.cd or alternatively cd.events.
Okay.
And it looks like there is a way to open up a JIRA issue to bid or make an offer for a domain. I don't know if that's where we would submit the issue through, but I just put the link in the chat. And this is from the LFX tools side.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, actually that's what we use for the domain transfer. So yeah, we could go ahead and
I don't know what that, I've never used that bid or make offer for domains. If that's the route that we would go, I'm assuming so.
let me ask around and then I'll come back, and it might be that we just use that, but I'll make sure there's someone manning that behind the scenes.
Great. Thanks, Tracy.
Okay. Maybe another related update. On Saturday, we had the Jenkins Contributor Summit. We had quite a lot of discussions, and one topic to highlight, we discussed Jenkins and Tecton. Thanks a lot to Andrea participating in this session. So we discussed a few integration options, and there is a ball on my side to actually come up with the draft specification, Jenkins enhancement proposal we can start reviewing. And Andrea, based on discussions, already created a few diagrams. So hopefully we'll be collaborating on that in the future so that we can discuss how the final integration would look like. So the goal is to basically have Tecton as one of pipeline engines in Jenkins on par with Jenkins pipeline. But the implementation and the target audience are yet to be determined for the final design.
It's exciting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we haven't forgotten about this topic. And yeah, let's keep moving forward.
Maybe a related update. And if you finished with the contributor summit?
Well, there are no other major updates to reference to that. Yeah, one of the follow-ups is that I will be scheduling a separate end user panel because due to time limitations, we decided not to host it to keep the event shorter, especially on the weekend. So it will still happen. And for other sessions, yeah, we discussed OpenTelemetry. We will likely start a separate observability working group. I'm not sure whether it would happen on Jenkins level or maybe it makes sense to have it on the CDF level. Yep, it's a separate topic because it's also part of existing group. So I'm not sure whether it makes sense to create a new SIG in CDF, but let's see. Yeah, no major updates in other talks. We had quite a lot of them. And yeah, we will be processing all materials and publishing them in a few days.
Yes, I recall another update I wanted to share on KubeCon and Supply Chain Security Con. So yeah, KubeCon is on this week, and yesterday was a new event called Supply Chain Security Con. And yeah, I know myself, Kara and Jackie were attending a bunch of talks. Trevor Rosen from SolarWinds probably gave one of the best talks there, just talking about the Sunbest hack and how they are kind of rebuilding and using a lot of open source there, particularly Kubernetes in toto and Tecton as a key part of the solution. And yeah, it was pretty good just because he sort of was good at positioning like why they made the decisions and what features they were looking for and how they kind of brought it all together. So yeah, and in general in that whole session, a lot of Tecton content and Tecton chains. It's definitely kind of putting a strong foot forward as best practices for securing your software supply chain. So yeah, Kara, did you have anything to add?
I found the day really incredibly useful, actually, for placing a lot of these open source projects that can help you secure your supply chain, sort of placing them in context to each other and seeing how they can be used together. So there were a number of talks that discussed the different ways to combine them that would provide better security. And I found that really illuminating. When do we know, Tracy, when those talks will be available for people who weren't able to attend on the day?
Yeah, so I think they typically do it a couple of weeks after the event. They'll put them all up on YouTube. Sometimes the Cube CNCF up pretty quick, so it could be even as early as next week.
Yeah.
So I have-
Oh, go ahead.
So I just have a concern in general with the supply chain, the day zero. I don't know if you were aware, but Dan Lork spun off a company called, I believe it was called Chain Guard. And it feels like he just utilized the Linux Foundation and the CD Foundation to basically get a whole way to market and promote his own company. And it just seems very coincidental that the company gets founded on a day that the supply chain is happening at KubeCon.
So do you have some concerns about the vendor neutrality of that event?
Yeah, and there wasn't a call for papers that I was aware of, and it seemed very hidden around the supply chain area. And then right after that, a new company comes out by the person that's running it. It doesn't seem very transparent and very fair to other people. I mean, I'd love to have the Linux Foundation give me a day zero event so I can spin off a company then right after that. I mean, it'd be a big push for VC funding and those types of go-to-market strategies.
Yeah, like I'm happy to follow up with you. Like I think we were aware of the processes there. I would say there was not great communication, but there was a program committee, which included folks from the Linux Foundation, myself, folks from VMware. So while I do feel we may not have communicated it as widely, and it was kind of half in CNCF and half in CDF, I do feel we did follow the processes there, even if the communication could have been a lot better. And I will say, KubeCon has become a big stage that everybody is looking to coordinate announcements. We'll be seeing a ton of announcements and companies this week. But yeah, happy to follow up on specifics on that one. If I'll reach out and set something up.
Okay.
Thanks for the discussion.
And just as a general thing, I will say for any topic, any individual is welcome to come and drive a topic and build momentum. We did have a bunch of sponsors as well for Supply Chain Security Con. It was one of the most popular sessions. And I think that is a typical model. Usually it does start with one person or one company sort of saying, here's a topic we want to do. And if it's of something that's seen as in the general good or general interest, then those tend to spawn out. But yeah, our role is to keep that kind of vendor neutral and make sure people can, in different ways, participate. Sorry, someone else was commenting.
Yeah, Tracy and Carrie, you mentioned there were a lot of projects to sort of help with this issue in general. Are any of them possible good candidates to reach out to become CDF projects, as they are, built on Tecton or built on other things or wrapping other things and, I don't know, improving? They seem like without knowing any of them in particular, they seem like they could be good candidates for CDF projects.
That's a great question. I think a couple of them are already CNCF projects in Toto and Tough. I'm struggling to think of other ones in the space. And then the Salsa project is part of OpenSSF. So they're all kind of sprinkled around the Linux Foundation as far as I know. But yeah, I think
Okay.
having a project in this space would be amazing, or even elevating something in Tecton that helps pull it all together.
Yeah, whether it's right, whether it's under the Tecton umbrella or the CDF umbrella, it seems like this is a burgeoning area of growth and excitement. And if we could tap into that, that would be great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tap into it more, continue tapping into it, not that we haven't.
Yeah, well, Kara and I were discussing as well whether like we should be getting all those projects on the landscape and so helping people discover them and be aware of them, and any other things we can do to help people work out how to connect it all together.
Cool.
Thank you. Generally, I agree that this topic is very important, and yeah, in the Jenkins community and other communities, we see a lot of pressure to ensure supply security, supply chain security. So this event totally makes sense. And yeah, regarding chain guard, actually, yeah, the team was working on open source projects in this domain for years. So whether it's related or not, it's a separate topic to discuss. Okay.
But I'm just going to say, I really like your question, Jason, actually, and because really OSSF is looking at supply chain for security, and it's really related to our space. And so we have our best practices for CI/CD and continuous delivery. And then at this point, it feels like we're mostly pointing people to, oh, for best practices for security in the space, look to the OSSF. And that's great, but it is interesting for us to think about how we want to collaborate with them and what projects we want to take on board, or what our position really is going to be in that space.
Yeah, I don't really mind if they end up, I mean, I realize we are a CDF, but I don't really mind where they end up specifically, so long as it's clear where we are all, you know, providing value and providing good direction and collaborating together. Using CNCF projects to do that sounds fine, but I don't know, I guess as people hear about more exciting new things in the area, I guess we can keep our ear to the ground and keep our antenna up for things that could fit specifically into CDF. I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just a logistical comment on the conference. If anyone has the access to the conference as per the registration, I cannot see the talks. They are available as a catch up in the platform right away, a few minutes after the live stream. And because it's Pacific time for me, it's not so good. I basically watched most of the conference in my morning today, which was pretty handy. I've not seen this before in other virtual platforms, so I think it's a pretty good feature.
Yeah, I like that. Oh, and I'll drop this link in. We do have a bunch of sessions for folks who are registered at the booth, or just we'll be promoting, and great to see SIG Event has a session coming up this week.
Yeah. So moving on. Yeah. So any other status updates, or should we press it with other topics on the agenda? Okay. So CDF TOC Roadmap. I sent it for review to TOC members something like 1 week ago. Again, it's just a draft to see whether this concept is feasible or not. I put a few topics which we've been discussing in recent months there. And yeah, basically, roadmap is a combination of a GitHub dashboard plus GitHub issues plus some labels. And if you go inside, there is just some description plus links to issues in this or other repositories if relevant. So from your point of view, is it what we need, or do you see it completely differently in terms of representation and content?
Seems good.
Looks good.
Okay, the next more challenging question: are we missing any items that we would like to add?
Sorry, never mind.
Mhm.
I was going to just add, I started looking last week and Kara's going to help out as well. We're just trying to clean up the landscape a little and just take a look at some of the things that have been lying around, docs issues. So yeah, I think we can put that there.
Yeah, that would be the one I would add, is just more around the landscape. Like you said, we're doing the cleanup, and if you can hunt down those other projects you were thinking of, Tracy.
Yeah.
Even if you
So-
just put them in the issue, and then I know going in and updating the landscape can be interesting that way.
Yeah. I don't know.
If you need help on that, let me know.
Perfect. Yeah, so I think what we'll do, we'll just go take a look and see what low hanging fruit we can just knock out. And then for other things, either just kind of submit the issues or even Hacktoberfest them, or just bring topics, and maybe that can be a standing item for the talk meeting. We can just give an update on the landscape and how it's progressing.
So you said that Kara will be driving this topic, right?
Sure.
Mhm.
Sounds good.
Happy to. Also, anyone else who would like to have real input into the landscape, please ping me. We'll probably set up some sort of working group as we get a better sense of the goals for the landscape are. I know, Steve, you've been quite involved in it, and that's really appreciated. But really, we would like everyone's input. And it would be great if we did have a list of projects to put on the landscape to Hacktoberfest. That would be awesome.
And as a general thing, I think we're trying to think about, like there's some great work starting to take shape in the best practices SIG, and I'd really love for that work to complement the landscape or be discoverable via the landscape. So everything just kind of fits together and makes sense and helps people understand the bigger picture.
Maybe it makes sense to create an issue in landscape. So I'm not sure. So I'm not sure whether this repository is maintained at the moment. But
Well, this is what
definitely
we're.
sense-
I wouldn't add anything new until Kara and I have just gone
Okay.
a chance to prune things.
Okay. So, any other stories we would like to add? Probably should introduce some automation so that roadmap tickets automatically get added here. It's near term, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah, make sure you open an issue for the automation, to fix the automation.
I am smiling that you have everything going from right to left, and all my other boards go from left to right. By the way, it should keep me on my toes.
Okay, I can change it like that.
Whatever
Whatever
works,
works.
but yeah, I'm just used to it that way.
Yeah, actually, the most of roadmaps I've seen, they in order like it was, but happy to do it like that.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's a new like dark theme kind of thing, like show your generation.
Well, I don't have a strong opinion.
No, I'll +1 how it is now. So
Okay.
as anybody else shouts, that works for me.
Okay, so yeah, if you see anything missing, especially for projects that require some actions from TOC, for example, I don't know whether Artelius plans to graduate soon. Maybe it's something for Steve to decide. And yeah, if you see items like that, just drop them on the roadmap. All of us should have permissions to. Everyone should have access to this board right now.
And we're gonna, for Ortelius, we're gonna let Tecton get through the bumpy road and get it evened out, and then we'll follow along.
Okay.
Oh, Andrea, while you're here, I sent an email to Tecton folks about the security audit dates. The trail of bits have actually can't fulfill the original date, so they've sent a new proposal. So just wanted to flag that. I said a tentative yes, but they have pushed it out, so you'll have to let me know if it still works for your graduation plans, or we need to go back and really try to force an earlier date.
Yeah, I think it should work. I put it on the agenda for the governing board meeting we have right after this. So
Okay.
just send an email confirmation after that.
Okay, yeah, and I'm trying to get that locked in. It seems all of a sudden everybody wants security audits done, so they're pretty busy.
Good for them.
Okay. So next, quick update, inclusive initiative membership. So the request was kind of supported by Union Board. Currently, we have an action item together with Tracy to submit an application via Linux Foundation enrollment site. And yeah, the blocker is still there. I need a non-Gmail email for this application, and I haven't created one yet. Hopefully I will do it tonight, but let's see. So this one should be finished smoothly, but yeah, it's rather marketing and best practices matter for now. Okay, then CDF project onboarding. Is it your item?
I put this one in. Yeah, when we had Shipwright coming in, it was clear we had no process around onboarding. And I think I had promised a while ago to start addressing that. So I had a stab at that's sitting on a branch, but it's just like a first version of some key things. So I could keep working on, like, I could just push this. Let me know if you think it's ready, or I believe I'm just trying to get it more fleshed out. But also if there's other things missing, please let me know. One of the things that I did discover that I don't think we've been particularly diligent about, because I don't think I even appreciated this, is that Linux Foundation need to be one of the owners on the GitHub repos, and they're sending around requests to the projects to set that up, especially I think as they get the LFX tooling up and running. That's kind of key to pulling all the projects into the system. So one action item as well for each project owner is to invite the Linux Foundation as quoted as an owner.
Yeah, it will definitely need a discussion.
Yeah, so two separate things. So that is a request to all project owners. And on the other side, for the onboarding, let me know if I should go ahead and put in a PR, or we want to discuss that and see what's missing before I do that.
So if you don't mind, I can give quick feedback now.
Sure.
Well, based on Jenkins onboarding, do you expect all these items to be completed before the project is officially onboarded, or shortly after? Because yeah, for some items like trademark, like we know with Jenkins, it may take a few years. So maybe for some items, it would be nice to explicitly say what is the prerequisite for onboarding, and what is the timeline for other items.
Yeah, that's a good question. As far as I can see, looking at that list, most of these things get done after, like, the prerequisite, provided the TOC accepts the project and the project understands the conditions and the expectations. I believe you're happy to let things happen in a reasonable manner after the fact. But
Mhm.
yeah, it would be good. Maybe we can clarify that explicitly.
Another item for legal team, maybe patent transfer. Because
Yes. Yeah.
especially
Good
for
one.
projects licensed under MIT, because MIT doesn't say anything about patents. So it's a kind of gray zone for projects like Jenkins.
Yeah. And yeah, speaking of your timeline, like things like the press release, there's a timeline associated with that. We need to know a certain number of weeks ahead of time to coordinate that. So I'll put something up in there to try and indicate what should happen when.
Mhm.
And yeah, I'll run it by the legal folks as well and see what
Yeah.
they can provide on patent transfers.
Also, it would be nice to understand the list of items on the CDF admin team or Linux Foundation admin team. For example, if I recall correctly, we still don't have shipwright on the CDF website. I might be wrong, but the last time I checked, there was no shipwright there.
Let's have a look.
So yeah, it would be nice to have a kind of checklist so that we don't miss these items.
So website, that reminds me, artwork. I think the artwork one got done, but just, yeah. Website, artwork, and probably LFX, which I'm trying to track down the official processes for that. Great. Yeah, no, this is good. Keep it coming.
Anyone else?
Just check the Linux Foundation is owner of the Tecton.org.
Is it?
Okay. Well done. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I believe it will be an interesting discussion in Jenkins. So I will try to start it rather earlier than later. But let's see. Speaking of that, at some point there was a request to put Linux Foundation trademark to the bottom of every associated site. So we were working on that with Dan, but yeah, we have never completed because we had a few projects, a few questions to the Continuous Delivery Foundation, and we have never been able to clarify them. Is it still an expectation?
Yeah, I expect it is, but probably just fallen off the priority. I can go and try and follow up with this. I think that we have a new legal.
Yeah.
Someone, Daniel Scales, who might be able to help.
So in Jenkins, we're ready to add that, just to understand why, because we have something like 20 or 30 services which expose web interface. So knowing the requirements would be nice.
Yeah.
And the same, for example, adding to information to distributions, whether we expect to do so. Because currently we say that we distributed from the Jenkins community as distributor, and in our distribution there is no really any reference to the Linux Foundation.
Okay. Yeah, and I'll try and get some clarification if they've standardized some of those processes.
Yeah, thank you.
Anything else? And by the way, Jason, I do believe Michelle's working on that Zoom account, so we should have it ideally before the week is out. Sorry for the delays.
No worries. Thank you.
Yeah, so.
Any other feedback to Tracy? Thanks a lot for starting it. It's definitely a nice addition to the onboarding guidelines. Maybe we can incrementally work on that.
Nice to have a list.
So maybe it's really better to submit a pull request so that we iterate there and every TOC member. Yeah,
so I can put in that one, and then yeah, each item additional, I can just do a follow-up pull request. That should be nice to do.
Mhm. Okay. So anything else for today, or should we close earlier?
Just one quick thing. Does anybody have a contact for Easy CLA at the Linux Foundation? I'm just having some issues getting a company associated.
I do have contacts for emails, but yeah, actually for LFX there is Jira where you
Okay.
can submit any issue.
Go that
And,
route. Okay.
Yeah, and actually you get a response really quick. So Heather Howard, I believe, from the Linux Foundation handles all the requests just in 24 hours or so. And if it doesn't work, then you go to email.
Okay. I will
can
go
share contacts if needed.
Perfect. Thank you.
Mhm. So I guess that's it for now. Yeah, thanks everyone.
Great.
Thanks.
So the
Thanks,
next
Al.
meeting is October 26th, standard time.
Right.
All right. Thanks.
Blockers for that. Bye.